Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm taking part in the Ottawa Children's Storytelling Festival 2022. I'm telling stories today from the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. The first story that I'm going to tell for you today is called The Caterpillar. It's my adaptation of The Caterpillar and the Wild Animals that can be found in The Maasai, Their Language and Folklore by A.C. Hollis. One day, in a forest not far from here, there was a caterpillar who was looking for a cozy place to sleep when they happened upon a hole at the bottom of a tree. They looked in. Didn't appear that anyone was home, and so they crawled in and made themselves warm and cozy and went to sleep. Meanwhile, in the forest, the bunny, who had been collecting berries, came home when they noticed some strange tracks leading up to their hole at the bottom of the tree. The bunny peered into the hole and said, "Who's in my home?" It woke the caterpillar. "Oh no," thought the caterpillar. "I'm in someone's home, but I'm warm and cozy. I don't want to leave. What am I going to do?" said the caterpillar. "Well, I am the most powerful creature to ever roam this forest. I crush the wolves and eat the bears for breakfast. This is my home now." "Oh no," thought the bunny. "There's something powerful in my home and it says that it's theirs now. What am I going to do?" So the bunny started to pace and think and pace and think when along came Porcupine. "What's the matter?" asked Porcupine. "Well," said Bunny, "there's something big and powerful in my home and it says that it's theirs now." "Well," said Porcupine, "I'm pretty scary. Would you like me to get it out?" "Oh, yes, please," said Bunny. And so Porcupine went up to the hole at the bottom of the tree and said, "Who's in my friend's home?" To which the caterpillar said, "The most powerful creature to ever roam this forest, that's who. I crush the wolves to dirt and eat the bears for breakfast. This is my home now." "It crushes wolves to dirt," said the porcupine. "There's nothing I can do against a creature so powerful." "Oh, what are we going to do?" said Bunny. And the two friends started to pace and think and pace and think when along came Wolf. "What's the matter?" asked Wolf. "Well," said Bunny, "there's something big and powerful in my home and it says that it's theirs now." "Well," said Wolf, "I'm pretty big and powerful. Would you like me to get it out?" "Oh, yes, please," said Bunny. And so Wolf went up to the hole at the bottom of the tree and said, "Who's in my friend's home?" To which the caterpillar said, "The most powerful creature to ever roam this forest, that's who. I crush the wolves to dirt and eat the bears for breakfast. This is my home now." "Crushes me to dirt," says Wolf. "There's nothing I can do against a creature so powerful." "Oh," said Bunny, "what are we going to do?" So the three friends started to pace and think and pace and think when along ambled Bear. "What's the matter?" asked Bear. "Well," said Bunny, "there's something big and powerful in my home and it says that it's ours now. We can't get it out." "Well," said Bear, "I'm the most powerful creature in this forest. I'll get it out." And so Bear walked up to the hole in the tree and growled and said, "Who's in my friend's home?" To which the caterpillar said, "The most powerful creature to ever roam this forest, that's who. I crush the wolves to dirt and eat the bears for breakfast. This is my home now." "Eats me for breakfast," said the bear. "There's nothing I can do against a creature so powerful." "Ugh, what are we going to do?" said Bunny. And the friends started to pace and think and pace and think when along hopped Toad. "What's the matter?" asked Toad. "Well," said Bunny, "there's something big and powerful in my home and we can't get it out." "Would you like me to try?" says Toad. "You? Why not?" said the Toad. All right, said Bunny, and up hopped Toad to the hole in the tree. And Toad said, "Who's in my friend's home?" To which the caterpillar said, "The most powerful creature to ever roam this forest. I crush the wolves to dirt and eat the bears for breakfast. This is my home now." Toad thought for a minute, took a deep breath in, and said, "Well, I am the most powerful creature to ever roam the world. I crush those who crush the wolves and eat those who eat the bears. Get out of my friend's home." "Oh no," thought Caterpillar, "I'd better get out of here." And so Caterpillar started to scurry out of the hole in the tree. And as Caterpillar got to the opening of the hole, all the friends were standing over and looking down and said, "It was only you." And Caterpillar said, "Oh, please don't hurt me. I was just looking for a warm and cozy." Went Toad. "Well, I did say I eat those who eat the bears." And off hopped Toad. The next story that I'm going to tell for you is called Lee the Dragon. One day in a land far, far from here, a land called Dragonland, there was a dragon called Lee. Lee loved being a dragon. They loved their big dragon wings. Can you flap your dragon wings for me? They loved their long, swishy dragon tail. They could wrap around things and pick them up. Oh, how they loved being a dragon. They loved their shiny, glimmery skin, and it kind of glowed and sparkled in the moonlight. But Lee had a secret. Lee could not breathe fire. Now, this was something that Lee had hidden from all the other dragons for a very long time. Sometimes they called in sick, or sometimes they found a match in their pocket. But something was happening in Dragonland, and they could not hide it anymore. All over Dragonland, posters went up for the annual marshmallow roasting competition, and all of Lee's friends were talking about it. Lee could not escape this one. And Lee thought, what am I going to do? I have to figure out how to breathe fire. So Lee started to think, well, fire is hot, and maybe if I ate something hot, I will be able to breathe fire too. Thought Lee, what's hot? What's hot? A pepper, a hot pepper. I will eat a hot pepper and then I will breathe fire. And so Lee went out to the garden and found the hottest, spicy pepper they could find. And they picked that tiny yellow pepper. And they put that pepper on their tongue. Ooh, it sizzled. All right. And Lee took a big bite and chewed, and the smoke started to come. The tongue started to burn. Gulp, said Lee. And Lee took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. No fire. But Lee definitely needed a glass of milk. Gulp, 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 gulp. Said Lee, what else can I try? What else is hot? A hot dog. That's what's hot. So Lee went to the local hot dog vendor and put some spicy ketchup on top and chewed that hot dog and took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. No fire. Oh, said Lee, I'm starting to run out of choices and options. What is hot? Hot coffee. My parents always drink hot coffee. And so Lee went to the local cafe and asked for an extra large glass of hot chocolate. I mean hot coffee, maybe with a little bit of hot chocolate thrown in there. And took a big gulp. Ooh, that burnt their tongue. Gulp, 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 gulp. Ooh, hot in my belly. Lee took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. But no fire. Ugh, thought Lee. There's nothing else I can try. I think I need to leave. And so Lee packed up all of their belongings in a bag, threw it over their shoulder, and walked out of Dragonland. They walked over mountains and down mountains and across valleys, swam across lakes until they came to a forest not far from here. And Lee sat down and started to eat a jelly sandwich. When along hopped a bunny. Tap, tap, went the bunny. What's your name? I'm Lee, said the dragon. What's your name? I'm Robin, said the bunny. Do you like to play hide and go seek? Yes, said Lee, I love to play hide and go seek. And so the two friends started to play hide and go seek. 1, 2, 3, and they played all day until it got very dark. And Robin said, Lee, would you like to come back to my place for some hot chocolate? I would like that very much, said Lee. And so the two friends talked about what it was like to be a bunny and what it was like to be a dragon. And Lee told Robin all about Dragonland and how they couldn't breathe fire. And Robin said, that's okay. I like you just the way you are. You're really good at playing hide and go seek. The next day, the two friends were playing hide and go seek again. This time, Lee was counting. 1, 2, 3. Oh, help, help, help! Oh no, thought Lee. That sounded like Robin. Robin sounds like they're in trouble. And so Lee started to run through the forest looking for Robin. And in a clearing, Lee saw Robin the bunny and someone with a long red furry tail. Do you know what it was? That's right, it was a fox. And the fox looked like Robin would make a very yummy lunch. And Lee ran into the clearing and said, don't you eat my friend. And the fox said, what are you going to do to stop me? And Lee thought, well, I'm a fire-breathing dragon. I'll stop you with my fire. Oh yeah, said the fox. Let me see your fire. I've never heard of a fire-breathing dragon before. Oh no, thought Lee. What am I gonna do? I don't actually breathe fire. And Lee thought of their friend Robin and thought of the fox. And Lee took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And guess what came out of Lee's mouth? Fire. Oh, said the fox. You burnt me. I'm out of here. And off ran the fox through the forest. Said Robin, you did it, Lee. You breathed fire. Oh my gosh, I did, didn't I? Oh, said Robin, you have to go back to Dragonland. You have to enter the annual marshmallow roasting competition. Oh, I don't know, said Lee. I don't think I could do it again. Oh, you can, said Robin. I believe in you. Oh, let's see. And so Lee took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And out came fire. Oh, said Lee. Well, I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't think I could go. Well, said Robin, I'm coming with you. And so Robin packed up all their things, put the bag on top of their shoulder, climbed on top of Lee and said, let's go. And Lee and Robin took off, and they flew over lakes and valleys and up mountains and down mountains until they got to Dragonland, just in time to sign up for the annual marshmallow roasting competition. The next story I have for you today is called The Rock Sculptor. A long, long time ago, in a forest not far from here, there was a little owlet, and the owlet loved to explore the forest. And one night, something was glittering on the ground, and the owlet flew down and picked it up. And in their wing, they noticed the most beautiful rock that they had ever seen. And from that moment on, that owlet loved rocks. They collected all kinds of rocks. Small rocks, big rocks, smooth rocks, rough rocks, rocks that were cold to the touch, rocks that crumbled in your fingers, rocks that were hard, rocks that you could write with. Oh, this owl loved rocks. And as they grew up, they continued to care and learn about rocks. They went to school to learn about metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. And at university, they decided to study geology. And they worked so hard to learn about rocks. And they continued to collect special rocks and fill their hole in the tree with all the rocks that they found. But they decided that they wanted to work more closely with rocks. And so the owl started to sculpt rocks. And they would create the most beautiful pictures in rocks. And their rocks went all over the world. Africa, they had their rocks. In South America and Asia, and even some penguins in Antarctica had ordered one of these rock sculptures. And now as this owl got older and older, it was harder to do the big rock sculptures that they had been used to. And one day they decided it was time to close up shop and move back to the forest. And so the owl flew back to their old hole in the tree, to their old rock collection from childhood, and went back to just a regular life of an owl. But, something was missing, but they couldn't figure out what. Now, one day, something awoke the owl, and it was the sound of children playing in the forest. And the owl sat there on their tree branch and watched the children play. They played with sticks and leaves. Oh, and they made the most beautiful things. But the owl noticed that the children hadn't been playing with the rocks. Thought the owl, but the rocks are the best part. And so one day the owl left a few rocks sprinkled about for the children. And the children came, but they didn't notice the rocks. Thought the owl, what am I going to do? Going to make them a sculpture. So that night, the owl worked very hard. They put big rocks and small rocks on top of each other until they'd made a giant rock sculpture. They stood back and looked. This is going to do it. They flew back up to their tree branch and went to sleep. The next morning, the children arrived in the forest, and you could hear, "Whoa, what's that? Who made it? Did you make it? I didn't make it. How do you think they did it?" And the children wandered around the sculpture. They were inspired. The children started to collect rocks themselves and make their own sculptures. And as they were making these sculptures and were excited about their day, they didn't look up, for up in the tree sat the owl. And if they were looking closely, they would notice that the owl wasn't really asleep, for they had one eye open, and they were watching the children, and they had a big smile on their face. So next time you're in the forest and you notice a rock sculpture, look up. There just might be an owl sitting there watching you. The next story I'm going to tell you is about a friend of mine called Steve. Now Steve is a squirrel, and Steve is a pretty new squirrel, and so everything that Steve does, he experiences for the first time. Now Steve loved the forest. They loved the hot sun and the cool breeze. They loved the shade of the green leaves, climbing up trees and running from branch to branch to branch. They loved swimming in the ponds that were found throughout the forest. Oh, Steve just loved the forest and loved life. Now one day, something happened, and Steve woke up and looked around the forest, and the green leaves were gone. They were red and orange and yellow. Oh no, thought Steve, the forest is on fire. And Steve started to run and wonder, oh no, what am I going to do? My poor forest, something terrible has happened. And Steve ran and ran and ran until they found their friend Owl. And as they were running and running to Owl, something even more terrible happened. The leaves started to fall from the tree. Oh no, thought Steve, now the leaves are dying. And Steve started collecting all the leaves and running to Owl's house. Owl, 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 something terrible is happening. The forest is on fire and the leaves are dying. Yes, said Owl, that's what happened. What do you mean that's what happened, said Steve. Well, Steve, that's what happens in the fall. The fall? I don't know. I don't like the sound of fall, said Owl. This is just what happens at the end of summer. Come on, I'll show you. It's fun. Trust me, you'll like it. And so Owl flew down to the ground and said, come, help me. And the two friends started to gather the leaves. And they made a big pile. Now, said Owl, you gotta jump in it. And so Steve climbed up a little bit and jumped into the pile of leaves. Oh, said Steve, this is fun. And Steve climbed up again and jumped and whoosh into the leaves. And they made a bigger pile. Oh, what else can we do in fall, said Steve. I like this. Well, said Owl, have you ever collected all the sticks that start to fall from the trees too? No, said Steve, I have not. And so the two friends started to collect the leaves, and they built a magnificent shelter and played in and around that shelter in the forest. Oh, tell me more, said Steve. What more is there to do in the fall? Well, said Owl, this one you will definitely like. All the acorns. You can collect all the acorns. Oh, my tummy was rumbling, said Steve. And so the two friends started to run and collect all the acorns. What do we do with them all, said Owl. You get to bury them. Oh, that sounds exciting. And so Steve went throughout the forest and dug a hole here and put some acorns in and patted it shut, and went over here and dug a hole and put the acorns in and covered it. Oh, said Steve, what else? Well, said Owl, this is almost the best part. And the two friends sat down and they picked up a leaf. Look at this leaf, said Owl. Do you see the yellow and the red and the orange and even a little bit of green? Yeah, said Steve, it's beautiful. And so the friends collected some leaves and tied them together. Wow, look at this beautiful garland I've created. I'm going to take it home. And so with a full belly and a full heart, Steve climbed back up to their hole in the tree, hung up their beautiful garland of leaves in their hole, and went to sleep happy and excited to see what fall had in store for him. I'm not supposed to do it. All right. The next story I have for you is called The Map. And this story, can I start again? Okay, I'll grab this after, I think. Okay. The next story I have for you is called The Map. This story I created with my colleague, Laura. One day, Owl just couldn't go to sleep. Owl wanted to do something fun, but needed some ideas. Do you ever have that one day where you just can't think of anything to do? And so Owl flew down over to their friend Wolf's house and said, Wolf, 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 wake up, wake up, wake up. I can't go to sleep because I need to do something and I can't think of anything to do. Oh, said Wolf, I have no ideas either. I was hoping that you would have an idea. Oh, said Owl, what are we going to do? Well, said Wolf, maybe if we walk, maybe something exciting will happen and then we will have something to do. All right, said Owl, let's start walking. And so the two friends started to walk through the forest. And as they were walking, all of a sudden, something happened. Right into them ran their friend Steve. "What are you doing?" said Steve. "Watch where you're going." "Oh, I'm so sorry," said Steve. "I've just been working so hard and I'm so tired. I found the most amazing treasure." "Ooh," said Owl. What did you find?" "Oh, I don't know. This is a pretty amazing treasure, and I don't know if I should share it." "Oh, pretty please," said Owl. We've been looking for something to do, and we would love to see this treasure." "Well," said Steve, "I've been working on a map to where the treasure is. I've been working really, really hard so that when I wake up again, I will be able to find the treasure." Wolf said, "Do you think we could borrow your map and find your treasure?" "I don't know," said Steve. "I've been working really, really hard on this map. We promise that we will bring back the map to you when we're done." "Oh, all right," said Steve. I promise. I believe you." And so Steve handed the map over to the friends and said that he was going to go have a nap. And off ran Steve. "Oh," said Owl and Wolf, and they unrolled the map. Whoa! They could see parts of the forest that they recognized. They recognized the muddy path with the poison ivy on either side. They recognized the pond with the cattails and the grasses. They recognized the big pile of rocks, the fallen tree, and oh, this must be where the treasure is. "That looks like the tallest tree in the forest," said Owl. "That's where the treasure is." And so the two friends headed off. Now the first stop was through the mucky path with the poison ivy on either side. And as they got to the mucky path, they thought, well, we can't go around it. We don't want to go through the poison ivy. We've got to go through it. And so squelch, squirch, squelch, squirch, they walked through the mud. And as they got to the end, they unrolled the map and said, "What's next?" "The pond's next," said Owl. "I know where the pond is." And the two friends ran to the pond. And as they got to the pond, they realized, well, the pond is very deep and very mucky. And I didn't bring my bathing suit or life jacket. "I think we're going to have to go around," said Wolf. And so the friends went around the pond. And at the pond, they noticed the frogs hopping, the tadpoles swimming, and the ducks swimming through it. They thought, what a beautiful day. What's next? What's next?" said Wolf. They looked at their map. The big rock pile. And so the two friends ran to the big rocks. They said, "It's too big to go around. We're going to have to go up." And so, have you ever walked on a pile of rocks? It can be a little precarious. So they walked really slowly. They took their time. A little slip here and a little slip there. But eventually they got to the top. And at the top, they looked around. Wow, you can see for so far. I see your den over there, Wolf. And I see your tree over there, Owl. Now we got to go down the rock pile. Oh, it's a little bit slippery going up. How are we going to get down? I know, said Wolf. We'll slide. And the two friends sat on their bums and slid down the rock pile. What's next? What's next? They unrolled the map. The fallen tree, the fallen tree. I think I know where that is, said Owl. And they headed off into the forest. Here is the big fallen tree. Now, there was a little hole under it, and maybe they could squeeze. I don't know, said Wolf. That doesn't feel safe. What if it fell on us? That's a good point, said Owl. Maybe we need to go over it. So the two friends helped each other up over the big fallen log. And as they were climbing over the big fallen log, they noticed that the bark was falling off. And in the bark, there were little ants and bugs and creepy crawly things. "Ooh," said Owl, "I think they live here. And they're a little bit tasty too." "Oh, look, look," said Wolf. "There's some mushrooms growing." "Make sure you don't touch," said Owl. "We just want to look with our eyes." And the two friends sat there and looked at all the life and activity in one dead fallen tree. And after a while, they said, "What's next? What's next?" When they unrolled the map, "It's the final stop," said Owl. "The tallest tree in the forest, that's where the treasure is." And they ran so fast to the tree in the forest. And they got there and they looked up at the tall tree and they looked down. They didn't see any treasure. "Where's the treasure?" thought Wolf. "Where's the treasure?" thought Owl. And then they noticed the hole up in the tree. Said Wolf, maybe it's up in that hole. "But how are we going to get up there?" "I can fly," said Owl. "I'll go up." And so Owl flew and flew and flew up to the hole in the top of the tree and looked in the hole. Said Owl, "Oh, Wolf, you're never gonna guess what's this treasure." "What is it? Is it gold? Is it diamonds? Oh, please tell me it's a lot of money." "No," said Owl, "but this is definitely a treasure that Steve would like." "Oh," said Wolf, "I think I know what it is." And Owl said, "I'm gonna throw some down to you." And so Owl tossed out the treasure and Wolf picked it up, and in his hand was an acorn. "Of course," said Wolf. "Do you know what we should do?" said Owl. "We should bring this back to Steve." And so the two friends collected all the acorns and went back over the log, up the rock hill, and slid down the rock hill, around the pond, and through the squishy, squelchy mud path until they got to Steve's house. And they said, "Steve, wake up, wake up. We've brought you something." "You brought me back my map," said Steve. "We brought you back something even better." What could be even better than my treasure map?" "We brought you the treasure." "Oh," said Steve, "I am excited." And so the two friends helped Steve bring up all the acorns to their hole. "Thank you," said Steve. And now Steve sat there for a very long time, eating acorns and acorns. Oh, and Steve was happy.